Hey there, I hope you're having a great day. This is going to be a conversation between myself and Jordy, a player on Curse of Amity Island, the D&D actual play that's available right now on this channel. We talk about our origin story and how we became friends, and a passionate love for this hobby, not just D&D. So, who is Jordy?
Oh God. College admission essays again.
I think a great way to start is, how did we meet? Which I think is hilarious.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Because Matt bailed.
Yeah.
Matt bailed.
Matt bailed.
Get him, internet. Go get him.
You were a friend of Matt's.
Yes.
And he recommended you because he couldn't be on the show.
Right. Yeah. Matt sucks. Matt bailed. He recommended me. Matthew Cairns. Big full names. The internet already knows who he is.
His home address is.
Got his social. Just let me know. But yeah, he and I go way back. We've filmed and written comedy for a few years, dating back to our Florida days, and so yeah, he has said, "Hey, you like these dice, this stuff," and I was like, "I do like this stuff," and so we connected and we got some pie together.
We did get some pie. Well, yeah. We went to a pie place, but did we eat pie?
I got a salad, so.
I think I got a sandwich.
I think I got, but like, I know I bought my girlfriend a pie because she loves treats and pastries of all kinds. And I can't go to a place that's like, that she admires or a new treat.
I'd be like, hey, honey, I was there.
Yeah.
And you didn't get me anything?
Yeah, I can't be like, oh, I passed like, this incredible looking bakery.
It was one of a kind. And in fact, I think they're now closed forever.
They're done. They're done. She'd slap me. So no.
We dug each other.
We did.
We dug
each other. Sup, Allie?
And you're playing D&D now with me.
Yeah.
On camera.
Yeah.
How many times have you played D&D off camera before this?
Off camera, probably like totality, like campaigns, like probably 4 separate like groups of friends I kind of played with.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
And then on your birthday, I've learned how much of a tabletop player you really are.
I mean, it's not. I wish I played them more, but I do really love it. Like, I did have a Risk themed birthday party.
Yeah, you had like 5. You set up 5, but only 4 tables of Risk were going at once.
Yeah, four Risk tables were going at once. The plan was round 1, 5 separate worlds battling, and then there would be a champion of each world that like conquered everybody else. I was going to introduce rules to like speed it up, so like it would go faster in like an hour and a half, and then like that you determine the champions of each world in round 1, and then round 2 would be
which worlds?
Everybody, yeah, and wait, which worlds?
Was that like round 2, the worlds? I interrupted.
Oh no, you're good. I mean, well, let's address the question now. We had a Game of Thrones world. We had Transformers map, which looked like a Twister board.
Oh my god, that wasn't Twister?
No. And then we had there was a Star Wars map, and then there was like classical Risk, and
which no one played that one.
No one played that one, which was gonna be great because that would have been where I was planning on having
the finale anyways.
Which of course I was gonna play no matter what.
You were going to play the winning team.
Well, I was gonna have an automatic bye, like right into the second round, and I was just gonna kind of walk around and causing chaos. But like, I was not. I grew up playing Risk all the time. Like there's a notorious photo in our high school yearbook of like me and my 2 best friends like playing Risk, and like we got one of my best friends. His mom is like was the yearbook teacher. So if they were crunching on a deadline, like they needed to turn in some pages and they were missing spots, we got tossed in a lot. And
so funny.
So like social life, one of like the social life spreads, they needed something. So she just threw us all under the bus by just being like saying, seniors, Zach, John, and Jordy play Risk on a Friday night, which was accurate and true and so mean to do to us in high school. But yeah, that is what we would do on a Friday night.
Some of my Friday nights were watching Battlestar Galactica and Stargate SG-1 back to back, because for whatever reason that was the Friday night lineup. Sure, and I was like, I'm gonna do this because I live in a town of 200 people. And
200?
Yeah, 300 according to my mom.
Where are you from?
Elko, Minnesota. So small that it's called Elko New Market. They put the two towns names together.
Switched. Got it.
Now it's like 2,000 people.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
The developed neighborhood area that really blew up the town when I was growing up was just construction. So every weekend it was 4-wheeler time and just go cruising through construction areas.
Nice.
One time they had a pit for the basement layout, but it was still just dirt, and I fell in. Just walking. just like Andy Dwyer from Parks and Rec just fell into a pit. Yeah.
Cool.
And then I was stuck there for an hour.
That's so funny.
It's so long.
Oh my God. What a life experience. I wish I'd fallen in a pit once. Just once.
So it's like pit traps are so real to me.
No, guys, they're pretty effective.
They're really good.
Really, they're solid. They're solid. But yeah, so been a big fan of Risk my whole life. So I kind of thought like that was a game most people played. I figured it was like as ubiquitous as like Monopoly. Yes, no one wants to play it, but everybody has played it, right? Because it takes a long time. I was so wrong.
When did you learn you were wrong about this?
At the party, when I had 25 of my friends there. And
that's so long to go with not knowing the truth.
I mean, I was gonna, like, when I was 31 years old, that's when I learned it. Because like, my plan was like, I'll go over like a brief tutorial for like, the 3 people who had never played. But like, of the like 25 people there, like 15 people had never seen a Risk word in their life. And I was like, oh no. You never played Risk?
No.
That's fucking crazy.
You didn't believe me when I said it at the
party. That doesn't make sense to me.
I started
your life doesn't make sense to me.
I started DMing during COVID.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
I've been into D&D I've been playing D&D for maybe 5-6 years.
Okay.
Been into D&D for about 7.
Gotcha.
And I've gone to this point so quickly.
Very quickly. Wow. This got out of hand fast.
Some people wait 30 years of their lives to get to this. I was like, I'm already hitting 30, so I got to speed it up.
Gotta catch up. Fair enough.
Yeah,
I was incredibly wrong. So I basically spent a lot of the time just explaining the rules, and then the party just became like, everybody just start to play and I'll be happy. Like
I remember watching you like jump between tables like a referee.
Yeah, because it was like 25 people, like 20 of them are improv sketch comedians.
So they can just keep going.
Well, also they just won't shut up. So like I'd like try to be explaining, and then like 3 bits would be happening at the other tables, and then it would get loud, and I was like, okay, I'll have to go over here to explain the question. And so just be like, rather than regather the attention every 5 seconds, it was just like, okay, I'm gonna just go. It became more efficient. Everybody started playing the game. Everybody decided about the same time their own win conditions to kind of end the madness.
Perfect.
We all played for about hour and a half, 2 hours. It was a good time.
So you have improv training. How long have you been doing improv?
I took my first improv class in like 2013, 2014.
Oh, wow.
But like it hasn't been all contiguous, because like then after that I went back to college.
Normal life.
Yeah, I did it as like I was in Orlando for like an internship. And then I was like, I want to try this, because I was doing stand up at the time and sketch at my college, and I wanted to get better stage presence so I didn't feel comfortable.
That helps.
And then I started doing improv, and it was immediately like, oh, this is just better than stand up. We're all alone.
I have not really taken any improv classes. Allie and I went to like this physical improv course. That was a weird experience.
Okay, was it like clowning or?
Not necessarily clowning. It was to teach improv, not for the sake of comedy, but for the sake of yes-anding with a partner, just physically. Like we did exercises like mirroring. There was one game where we played where one person would just do an activity and then each person who would enter the scene would have to continue building off that.
Oh, yeah.
What is it? Viola Spolin? Okay.
She created improv as like theater exercises essentially, and then it kind of became its own art form in Chicago, and like that.
I found it like super fun and interesting, because it's like you don't have to try to be funny. You don't have to like. From my understanding and experience is improv, you constantly have to, it can lead to getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And with someone with little training, that's overwhelming.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, the best improvisers in the world are doing like 900 things at once. Like they're juggling so many balls. They are in that moment. They are yes-anding. They are heightening to the next extreme. Then they're resting the game. Then they're going again. But yeah, also every great improv, or like any good improv teacher is going to tell you, don't try to be funny. It's like,
but that's part of the job.
It is part of it. So it's aggravating advice, but like there's so much truth in that, because it's like when you're just focused on being what you are and heightening that, and it becomes funny.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then people truthfully reacting to that is funny.
Yes.
So like that is what
there's a lot of trust.
Yes, absolutely.
And the most amount of experience of improv that I have is by listening to the audiobook Yes and from Second City.
Okay. Yeah.
They talked about yes and in there, and then the big thing that stuck in my brain was statements, not questions. And I realized when I heard that was, man, we ask a lot of questions when we play D&D.
Yeah.
And I was like,
yeah.
Why do we ask so many questions when we play Dungeons and Dragons?
I would say I was noticing about myself when I was playing in our recent campaign, and it was because I think, especially if from a player's perspective,
this is the important one. Yeah.
From somebody's when like a DM, is like you, I know you has put so much time and work and effort into kind of shaping this world. You don't want to step on their toes, but like you have to take. But I was like, I need to be more. I was like, oh, some of the early stuff. So I, like in the later episodes, I'm like, oh, I need to be more assertive, because like it is your world. Also, you're also telling the story. It's a collaborative story. It's a collaborative like storytelling format. And if you don't feel you have ownership of your own story, then you're hesitant and you ask questions as opposed to just saying X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
You're more comfortable anding as opposed to just yesing, right? Yep. Yeah.
Just say kind of what you want to do. Like, don't wait for me to describe every detail, because then you become limited in your creativity. Whereas if you jump, like, I'm going to grab the chair and climb up to see what's over this thing.
Yeah.
There's now a chair in the room.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, it definitely it helps you roll with the punches better. Just kind of let stuff roll off of you better. Helps you listen more. Helps you also intuit. Like a lot of anding and scenes and stuff comes from information you aren't necessarily told. It's you intuit from who is saying this to you, how are they saying it to you. Like you can intuit a lot about the situation. If you walk into a room and somebody says, "What are you doing here?" It's like they're probably doing something they don't want you to know about. Like if you look around, some stuff's probably going to be up.
Right.
Like that kind of stuff that nobody explicitly said, but you just know as a human, right? And like
true
from improv, you get dropped into and role playing games, you get dropped into so many situations where you don't have. Also, you're painting it in your brain. So
right. So everyone's brain is interpreting things differently.
Right. So you're all painting the picture together, and if you're not painting, you're not helping. Right. It's a blank page. If you're not saying authoritatively X, Y, and Z, then
right,
you're letting everybody else do the painting, and then you're like waiting.
You're just enjoying everyone else's painting.
Yeah, you're waiting for the picture to be.
It's borderline selfish.
Rude. Yeah. Yeah.
And I think with D&D specifically, it's about information, right? So yes, anding and statements over questions. Yeah. I think like the questions that we are constantly asking, it's not just to paint the picture.
Right.
The more I'm practicing and the more I'm learning about it, DMs who stay too vague with the information lead players to 20 questions.
It depends, right? It depends on that dynamic and that trust,
right?
You know, and it's like I also feel like it's the right information, right?
Yeah.
I also think there's the element that, especially people who don't have too much training with with improv or what have you, there's a beauty in the role playing games in that you get all the time in the world leading up to first time you roll your dice to like shape that character. Cause so much of bad improv comes from, I don't really know who or what I am, but if you come in knowing what your character wants and needs, then you should know what they want to do in every situation. Right.
I think that's why like the first 3 sessions of any actual play is really awkward.
Right. But I mean, it's also like, even if you have put in that work, like when rubber meets the road, that character kind of changes sometimes. Like even 100%. With sitcoms, like how many characters did they have to pivot or just throw away or whatever in Parks and Rec, right? To make it the show it was. Like sometimes it just doesn't end up playing the way you think it is, and you end up discovering the character as you play.
Exactly.
Like I'm thinking of a moment like in our campaign where Trace kind of clicked in for me. Yeah. And I was like, oh, this is underlying who this guy like actually is.
Tell me more about that moment.
Oh, okay. Spoilies or
yeah,
okay.
It's fine.
So like I knew my guy's drive and like backstory was like, oh, he failed his like duty, so he's kind of redoubled down on that. But that meant what he's being right now, which you made very clear with your DMing and whatnot as well. I think you sprinkled that in, was like the nervous like guy that he like what he's doing right now. Doesn't seem very good at what he's doing. There's a reason for that, because he's not been trying to do it very long, or like not trying to be good at it for very long. So then it was a matter of like, oh, when more bad things happen, what happens? And like, oh, you kind of get a little look at what he was when he wasn't trying to put on this face, right? Yeah. And there was that moment when you had that soldier like be so mean to me, where I was like, "What's your problem, dude? Like, where fucking go?" Like, where this like lifeguardy surf bro like came out, I was like, "Oh yeah, that's what he actually is." Yeah. Like, he's very sad right now, but like that's kind of his default MO, you know.
It's the way I perceive it, which is not necessarily how you probably interpret it. But this is how I perceive it, so I can approach it this way. Trace is allowing, it's kind of a very specific motto and perspective that has a lot of value in real life. He's allowing failure to define him.
Interesting. Yeah.
And so every time I put pressure on Trace, it's to how far can I dig through failure to get Trace to come out?
Interesting.
Right? Because Trace is a soldier, someone who lives soldier-ish. He's in the military.
He's in the military.
But you can't be a failure to get just through basic training. You can't be a failure just to get put somewhere or put in charge of somebody's life. You can fail, but you can't be a failure to get that far.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. All that makes super sense. That's really cool and great that you had that idea for this character. I'm excited to do more and like be more as this guy who's kind of like exactly what you're saying. Like I feel like at this point, like he's more lost than ever before, which is gonna result in him, like kind of the notes I've been saying is like he's gonna have to find himself, like to get out. Right.
Chris mentioned that it's what I did to Trace is worse than what could have happened. Like, like he could have been fired, but he wasn't. He got stripped of all his armor, and then he got shitty armor that even covers up his arms.
Yes.
I put you in timeout.
Right. Ironically, he feels naked now, you know? Absolutely. Yeah. No, he's it'll be fun to kind of see where he ends up for sure.
Oh, man, it's so exciting.
Yeah.
You had the idea of doing the shield because you're a protector.
Right.
And then you were like, I don't feel like a protector. I need more weapons.
Right. I was like, this isn't working. Like every time I like tried to impose disadvantage, it would be like they'd hit anyway, or like you used your reaction on one of 3 attacks hitting this person. So it's like, oh, they ended up down anyways. And it's like, doesn't matter.
I got to look at the mechanics of that personally, because I feel like
interesting. I was watching, are we allowed to talk about other podcasts on this podcast? No? Yes. Okay. Because I was watching Adventuring Academy, and they talked about for like their medieval game, A Crown of Candy.
Oh yeah.
Like one of the characters wanted straight up to be a bodyguard, but like the mechanics for D&D don't innately like allow you to do that so often. So they homebrewed like an item for him because he was like the head of the guard of the royal family.
Right.
So they made an item for him that like, if anybody's attacking like the royal family, you can instantly move 30 feet and like take that hit. Like that kind of stuff. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. That because like, yeah, D&D, it's all built for offense and like you to be the hero. It's not built for you to support and help.
Right. So
take those damage.
One of the homebrews I've thought about, and I just never like committed to because the number one critique for it is valid. It just slows down the game. Is essentially turning AC into a rolling system.
Okay.
So it's essentially, rather than armor class when a monster goes to hit you, you're essentially rolling dodge or block. It's up to you. Do you want to allow it to be hit? Do you want to use your dex to dodge? Do you want to use your strength to block? And that can change. And then you just are essentially rolling a check against an attack. And it does just make the game a little bit clunkier and slower.
Yeah, it feels very much like baseball where you're picking the pitches. And it's like,
and I was like, there has to be a way to like make AC, an armor class, be more action oriented. Kind of like what you're saying. Like if I'm a guard and the people I'm guarding is getting attacked, I should have an ability to step in.
Maybe it is some sort of contested, it becomes like a contested check, right? Where it's like you have some ability that allows you like, I'm in defense mode. And like if anybody within 10 feet of me tries to attack one of my compatriots, I roll like a strength check against them, right? To see if that works. I don't know. It's interesting.
I'll try to work something out for you.
Ooh. I mean, Trace is past that. It's over.
So you're going to let somebody else die too?
What's that?
You're going to let someone else die too?
I've straight up stated Trace's new ethos, which is the best way to protect people is to kill the thing that's trying to kill them. It's not to be a meat shield.
Oh man, it's so great. I did love the fact that you wanted to like multi-class into fighter.
I thought about it, but then
I was like, why do you want to do this? I just want this one thing. Here, have it as a feat.
Right. I was the one that was like, wait a minute, I saw your feats. Like, just give me this. Never mind. I'll stay paladin boy for now.
Oh man, that's so funny.
Yeah.
Have you changed your oath? Because I allow you guys to change your subclasses as you level up.
So I think what I've decided is kind of like leading up to that point. I was leading up until like the initial like attack and all of those events. I think I was an oath of like more of your standard like flavor paladin, like devotion and whatnot. But like post events, I think Trace is slowly figuring out the oath that he actually is taking kind of subconsciously.
So is that oath that you're taking you currently took? Have you taken that oath yet? As a subclass?
On my character sheet, yes. Have
Okay.
I used any of the abilities granted
you
by
have
that
not.
subclass? No, I have not. So
Chris
RP and story-wise,
Chris is very aware about
I'm
that
good.
and really angry. And I like how we're like dancing around what it's potentially called.
Yeah. Mhm. Yep. Yeah, no, I'm very specific. Like I haven't revealed. I've like revealed like my patron, but like that, like the god that I am.
Yes.
But like that's about it. Which Paylor boy. But yeah, that's all. I've revealed so far. Paylord. Yeah, but that's all I've revealed so far. So I think like the oath is kind of slowly shifting as well, especially kind of like breadcrumbs you kind of tried to lay for me that I didn't have a high enough perception check to see. I was like, all right, moving on.
Yes. That's the thing that I practice. I've heavily been practicing in this game. Perception rolls are for not key information. It's for fun information, extra information to like add for what you want to choose to do.
From now on, if you point something out, I'm gonna roll a deception check. Perception check. Deception. I would like to deceive this manor on the hill.
I would like to deceive if I see this or not.
I want to see the manor. I don't want it to see me. I would like to deceive it.
What do you think I could do better?
Better.
Yeah.
Interesting. First off, huge shout out to the world building and the literal battle map building, especially when you just kind of on the fly were like, yeah, this is a second story house. It whipped up in like 5 minutes. Like it's incredible. It's fucking wild. It's absolutely like the highest production design that's literally out there on the internet.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it is. Like straight up.
That feels good because I often think it's not. So I have to do more and better.
No, dude, it's fucking sick. Like I would, I would put it like up there with like, you know, like your D20s and Critical Role, like name a channel that's even in the same league. Like I think you're up there personally. Whatchamacallit? I mean, that's all incredible, man. Yeah. You did giggle once. We were having a very dramatic scene.
Yes, I did. Which one was it?
I think I was telling a man his wife is dead. And you were that man.
And I was the best. Well, what didn't help? Giggling McGee's to our
oh yeah, the peanut gallery.
The peanut gallery are giggling, and I'm hearing them, and then you're being so locked in that I'm like fucking up. And then you're not even budging, and it makes me laugh. I'm like, God damn it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I wanted to play a lovely little himbo character, and then you had to commit so much murder in front of me, so he had to serious up for a little bit.
It was the game's based off Jaws. There's going to be murder.
There's murder, and then there's murder. All right. And this was the latter. So yeah, Trace was a little more serious for that chat. I don't think there's an authentic way to play that scene where I'm still just like, just like, anybody got some sunblock? I'm a lifeguard. Damn it, why don't I have a whistle? Fuck.
Whistles haven't been invented, so you have a flute.
New RP. As part of his sad boy role, as part of his sad boyness, he's gonna find a harmonica, and that's gonna be his whistle. And he's gonna try to play it badly, and he's gonna multi-class one level of bard.
Oh my god!
That's what he's gonna do.
I love how she walks around the whole thing versus cut through it.
That's the route.
Do you want me to go through that? Is that easier?
It's whatever is easy for you. I just thought it was funny.
Yeah, no.
Oh, it was easier to go around the other way.
No, you're good. That was the route I expected.
Yeah, me too.
Have you seen that behind the scenes bit? There's like that interview for the D&D movie where there's that moment where the paladin is just like walking away in the distance.
And he's still walking.
Yeah, and Chris Pine just like starts ripping. Apparently, somebody shouted cut and he just kept walking because he didn't hear it. It was allegedly the story. So
That makes the walking over the rock make way more sense. He's like, I guess I'm walking over this rock.
Right. But it was also perfectly in character. It was just like, shortest path between 2 points is a straight line.
Because
it felt very much like a home game moment, you know?
Yeah. The movie is filled with that.
So much. It's beautiful at that, where it's just like, oh, somebody just had a really bad roll here.
The one moment, I don't think it worked in the movie, and I think it's because of the medium change, is when the brain devourers just walk by because they don't sense any intelligent creatures. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, well, that's kind of mean.
That was a hilarious joke, and I'll defend it till I die.
I stand by that the joke was excellently delivered and got me to laugh. Mm-hmm. But when I think about it in the refrigerator test, it doesn't hold up.
The refrigerator test?
Yeah. So Hitchcock created the refrigerator test. So when you watch a movie and you have a great time, but then in the middle of the night when you open the refrigerator to look for snacks, you start thinking about the movie a little bit differently. And you're like, oh, wait, that doesn't make sense. Or wait, why did they do that? And you start like, the movie can fall apart at that point. The reason why I don't think that beat worked that well was it was just not in the right place or the right time of the movie. I feel like in D&D fashion, the DM describing a monster, how horrible it is, it could kill you, it could destroy you. And then everyone rolls intelligence checks and everyone passes and they just walk by.
Yeah.
That feels great.
Yeah, that's awesome.
In a movie where he's like, these are horrible, just killing monsters, and they just walk by. So leading, I just don't, didn't work.
Disagree because of exactly what your preceding statement. Because it feels so much like a game is why it totally works in that movie. They were so honest to the genre. It's like, how often is it like you build up this big bad and 2 people crit and it's dead in a round? Like you build up all this stuff.
I gotta watch it again.
You just gotta pivot, you know?
I gotta watch it again because I didn't like the beat where it was. I felt like my editor brain was, I could cut this and it would be totally okay.
Sometimes you got to kill your babies with comedy videos, but I think that one slapped.
The moment the dragon started sliding and was pulling penguin moves,
hilarious.
I was like, this is gold.
This is great.
This is the best dragon fight I've ever seen.
Yeah, wonderful. I love that movie. It was great.
It is too good of a movie.
Yeah, I can't wait for them to make more. I hope they bring back the whole cast.
I think I don't think they're making another movie. I know that the show with Paramount didn't work out.
Oh, they were going to do a series?
Yeah.
Oh, with that crew?
I think it was a different D&D adventure.
Gotcha. That also makes all the sense in the world.
But it didn't work out. So now Hasbro's has announced that they're trying to make a D&D streaming platform.
Interesting.
And everyone's like, are you putting the cartoons on there? Are you putting what movies, what shows are you putting on there? And they're like, oh, we're going to do actual plays. We're going to do scripted actual plays.
Scripted actual plays?
I don't know what I don't know. Like
what does that mean?
We're going to make improv content and scripted content. And we're like, ooh, we need to see examples.
What does that mean?
Because there's a picture in their head that's not communicating correctly.
Is it just a fantasy play? Like, why are dice involved if it's scripted? Like,
exactly.
That doesn't make any sense.
Right. I don't know. But my favorite interpretation of the movie is that if they do end up just making a sequel, it should be a different crew, same villain.
Well, like what? Like the Red Wizards?
Red Wizards and Zatam.
Sure. Yeah.
Because
since within the world, they seem to be a pretty existential problem.
Right. But it was also, that's kind of how D&D campaigns go, is like the DM's always the same person, but the party's always mixing it up. Different adventurers.
Or somebody else bought the module. You know,
or someone bought the module.
Totally different party builds up their characters to try and take on these Red Wizards. So.
That would actually be groundbreaking if they just had the same cast, different characters.
Oh, that would be really fucking cool.
It would be so. It would be
cool.
straight up hit or miss.
Well, if it was like a whole new adventure, whole new villain, and then they're just different they're all playing just different characters. Oh, fucking great.
I think at that point, everyone would jump on board.
I think a lot of
I'm surprised at the people who are like just now getting to watch it and they're like, oh, that was a really good movie. I was like, yeah.
I mean, I'm not the most plugged in, but like everybody I like follow on Twitter or like see like in the GTRPG community
are all
like,
impressed with it.
They loved the movie.
Yeah.
Like, and which we'll call it, the Justice Smith like once like is in love with like Dimension 20. Like he actually watches the content. Like he like
yeah.
That I think everybody's on the same side here.
Yeah.
Like I haven't heard. I'm sure there are
I haven't heard
naysayers,
any. The only naysayers I've heard are like grumpies.
Right, like the gatekeeper BS, like that they're obviously always going to be there.
Yeah,
but they knocked it out of the park. It was great.
It wasn't trying to be an award-winning movie. My favorite really thing about the movie is the dialogue.
Yeah, it's great
because it's here. What does a Forgotten Realms barbarian sound like? I can tell you what a German barbarian sounds like. I can tell you what an African barbarian sounds like. I can tell you what any barbarian in history sounds like for a fantasy world building game. What does a Forgotten Realms barbarian sound like? It sounds like whoever is sitting next to you is pretending to be a barbarian sounds like. So just having Michelle Rodriguez just be a barbarian.
She was so good. So good.
Solid.
Her fights were also awesome. Anyway, in general, A+. Great movie.
Do you think I could improve anything as a DM?
I think you're doing great, man. I really do. I think you're doing a killer job. Yeah.
I enjoyed the compliment. I always want to improve.
Okay.
Rip me apart.
I mean, I don't know what aspect. I'll
I think my weakest point is roleplay.
Okay. What do you think would help that?
I'm not sure because I'm not. Okay, what do I feel uncomfortable with when it comes to roleplay? I feel that it's hard to shut off running the game and just zoning in because when I do that, I can lose track of time and management because that's the whole concept. I can shut off the game. And it's like, I can either be 100% in and not focus on something, which if I'm 100% in, we get Halleck and Hooper situation. If I'm half in, I get the issue where you're serious and I'm kind of like trying to keep up.
Sure. One thing I've often seen is like the difference between like watching like role players who kind of have like that improv-y background versus those who don't is kind of an internal timers in their heads.
Oh, interesting.
Like they kind of know how long a scene should be, right? And like it like maybe some improv classes or whatever would help you kind of internalize that of like, oh, so okay, somebody should have said something. Okay, we need to move in this scene. Like, you know, if like that's what you're kind of worried about is like being able to context switch, that like internal timer might help you that you kind of develop.
Okay, I'll look for that. Because I know based off the Halleck and Hooper scene, I talked to Taco afterwards. Because Taco is very much like, let's get going.
She is a perfectly selected character. And that she's not playing a character. She's a little rambunctious rogue who wants to go.
Talking about the two things that do help RP, and I, as a DM and a player, I'm like, oh, this is a tool that isn't talked about in the D&D community at all, which is one, before you go into a scene, know what you're trying to get.
Sure.
Or as a DM, know what you're trying to give. When you are in a scene, which this can maybe help me next time, is digging. So when either party member of the scene starts to dig for what to say, dig for what to ask, we're pretty much out of gas.
Sure.
My brain doesn't see that as a timer as much, but it might be something similar to what you're saying.
It is that sense in a scene where it's like something's probably gone wrong if you don't know what to say next, right? Like in improv, it's like if I don't know what to say next, it's either like we missed
what this scene was about. Like we weren't listening. Like we forgot what the thing of this scene was. So we have to create a new thing, which usually is not as good. Or if like you kind of hit that dead space, it's also just a beat to like, for guys on the side support, usually to edit, right? Like get you out of there.
Right.
It probably means like you hit a high point and now you're looking down at the valley, the energy is lost and everybody's like, oh, we should have gotten him out at that cliff.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, you should teach this stuff.
I've taken a lot of improv classes.
Precise improv tools for tabletop players.
Oh, for tabletop players.
Because you can make improv videos and just they're exactly what you would think they are. They're just, let's talk about improv, but you're just like aiming it.
Sure.
And I think that could do like some of the top searches on the internet is how to D&D, how to play D&D.
Right. Which is
and I think
90% of that is how to improv.
Yeah. how do I do this? And it's like, and the answer is, oh, it's just improv with dice.
Right. Yeah.
But then what is that?
Right.
Because I'm a lawyer or I'm a banker. What is that?
Right. Because that's really the only difference is the dice tell you. Because like in improv, it says I snap. In improv, I rip your arm off and like you do it.
Yeah.
Versus this, it's like, well, we'll see.
We'll see.
No, you do not.
No, you do
you
not.
do not rip off his arm.
But then at the same time, it's nice to like, no dice. This would be more impactful if we hold off on the dice roll longer. So it's like the opening of Jaws is a great example where I just turn to Allie and go, does he make it? No dice. Does he make it? And then I turn to you. Does he make it through the door? Or does it come crashing down on him? And I just say it.
I fucking love that. That was such cool shit. Because I've seen DMs like ask that before, but I've never seen them be like, hey, you're going to be involved in this. I'm not asking you. You rolled. Like you are informing your other. It's a really cool way to like make the chance, like involve the other players in the chance of like this terrible backstory.
Yeah.
I love that. That was really cool. I've never seen that before.
And I it's like, what if either of you guys picked a different choice, right?
Yeah.
And then it's like, save the important roll for Taco. Roll a con save.
Right.
So now the roll matters because why isn't Taco just making a choice like everyone else? It's like threes.
Yeah. That was really cool. I really liked that. That was really cool storytelling.
Thank you.
It was great.
It's all because Chris was making fun of you guys at session 0.
Oh, what did he do?
He was like, oh, you guys are going to have people you care about alive?
Oh, that old thing.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, no. Okay, we'll start with rewinding the clock to when your important people were alive.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that is the old internet joke of if your character doesn't come in with a tragic backstory of being a murdered orphan or whatever the fuck, then you still have people you care about? Well,
You're
the DM's about to remove those. And you did that exactly. You monster.
I left it up to chance.
You did not. There was no roll that I saw.
You guys could have just skipped that and gone straight to the island, but it was all on the rolls. You guys were rolling on tables.
Yeah. I want to see those rolls. I want to see those rolls against the AC of that character. I want to see how many hit points she had left. That's what I want to see.
I also love the fact that none of you guys noticed that the priestess went invisible.
What's up?
You guys never noticed that the priestess went invisible. That was...
Well, everybody ran.
It was like everyone ran, and I just kept on repeating, you don't see them anymore.
Well, to us, we interpret that as they ran.
Exactly. So I just repeated it just to see if it landed twice to like catch something. And then when you guys went in the water and I said, oh, the item's gone.
Oh, well, they were like all over. I feel like if you wanted that to click for us, you should have said they disappeared.
No. I could have had it click way faster and clearer. I chose soft pushes
Okay, wait. So okay, I'm mad now. We're gonna get into this. Wait, so all those things were still there? They just went invisible?
Not all, no.
Okay.
The priestess, all the soldiers left. 100%.
Okay, so they did run away.
But
We saw them run.
Yeah, the caster casted invisibility.
Okay. All right. That's more acceptable.
That's literally what happened.
That's fine. That's okay.
The results of it were not acceptable anyway.
No. You're a bad person. But yes. Okay. All right. I understand what you're saying now. Yeah. I mean, if all you want is a soft push and you say it twice.
And then when it reacts, I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah. What did you say? You said the mage disappears, or you don't see the mage anymore?
I actually don't remember 100%.
I mean, like, if you describe, like,
if I did say the word,
if you say, like, all the minions start to run and you're like, you don't see the caster anymore, and I'm like, okay, they ran too. Like,
right. I think I said something like that. And I was like, I purposely, the first time I said it was to hide it in the noise of everyone running away.
Sure.
Because that's exactly what an intelligent caster would do. And then I just reminded, you do not see the caster or you don't see the priestess anymore.
Yeah, buddy. They all ran. Of course we don't see them. Anyway, let's loot this fucking place.
That's exactly what happened. Hey!
Oh, speaking of mechanics, I did damage my sword because I got a nat 1 in our lesson.
I'm taking that mechanic out.
Oh, you're taking that mechanic out? Oh, okay. Is it being replaced with something worse?
Potentially.
Oh boy.
But no, it's just like the idea of damaging armor and weapons. I still want it in, but after a handful of sessions of that happening, I'm like, this is not the right mechanic for it.
Okay.
It's getting lost in noise
Sure.
versus being prominent. Like I almost think it'd be easier as like every nat 1 your sword breaks. Just like it has to be something that simple, that quick. But like that's super aggressive. So that's not the right move. But it has to be something like that versus like it's a -1, and then 2 hours later, oh, now it's a -2. Oh fuck, that's right, it was a -1. You know, it's not fluid enough.
Sure.
Because I know you guys have a private chat, a player chat.
Rat!
I have not.
How dare you?
I have not read it. I just know that you have
It
it.
doesn't exist. I can't say something.
That's fair.
Yeah, it's okay. You're probably gonna die.
What?
In the game. What? Remember, players make it to level 20, not characters.
Really? I've been kind of researching, trying to figure it, because you were like, you have 0 swim speed and like all this stuff, and I was like, fuck. And so I was actually like looking at rules the past week or so. I was trying to be like,
Water?
How do I take like a feat? Because like my guy's background is like he loves the water. I'm like, how do I take some sort of feat that like I can actually move well and do stuff in the water? I was trying to look for that.
Well, we could actually figure this out right now because I don't think there's an actual feat for that.
Right.
So the concept for underwater is swimming speed is typically tied to a type of creature that is evolved for the water.
I see.
Otherwise you have half speed in the water.
I got
And that doesn't mean difficult terrain. That means half speed. So you could get half speed and difficult terrain. So you get really screwed.
Right.
If your character is all about swimming in the water, you could have it, but while you wear heavy armor, it's half speed.
Sure. So it's functionally the same.
I gave you an out. All you gotta do is strip and dive.
I mean, if I figure out a way to get like mage armor or something, maybe, because like then it's just dex plus like 13 plus dex or whatever.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, then like my AC would be higher than it is now because like I'm a dex-based boy. So,
But yeah, it's like Taco kept on trying to argue about swim speed with me. And I was like, if your character grew up swimming and enjoying the water, you could have a swim speed. Because if it's written in your story,
Yeah.
it should be there.
right,
Because then the mechanics support your story.
right.
Fair enough. Figure out some sort of.
Heavy armor does not float.
No, it doesn't.
That's the word heavy.
Yeah. I got half plate. Yeah, not full. Yeah.
But it's also in like a shirt thing.
Well, I'm in a full shirt thing.
It's basically like Saiyan armor. That's what you're walking around in.
Well, before it was Saiyan armor, it was like a true like just Vegeta's like.
It was just his vest,
Yeah,
but now
yeah, his
you have
vest.
like the shirt
Now I got the
tethered
whole deal. Yeah, I'm not hyped about
now
it.
you just need the scanner.
Right. Right. Yeah. No. Now he's got a full chainmail pajama situation. She's not hyped about, but he'll wear it. So you have to end every session now.
Yeah, every single one. And roll initiative. Boop.
Roll initiative for boops.
All right, man.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming by.
Yeah. Always a pleasure.
Thank you to Jordy again for coming out and having a conversation and allowing you to get to know him a bit more. And as always, make sure you're having fun playing D&D. See you next time.